Okay, so let's start. Hello.
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 Nice to see you again. So please introduce yourself to our audience.
I'm Charlotte Middlemiss.
And I'm Joseph Sewell.
Okay.
And we're from
you're
the UK.
Yeah, we're from the UK.
We're from the UK. We're from Hertfordshire, the home of Harry Potter, in the UK, in Europe.
Ooh, nice, nice. And we're now at Wild West Festival. Shout out to Elena for giving us this situation that we can gather and have an interview. Less, little bit product placement. Okay, so please tell me about. Do you remember or do you recall the first moment that you felt like, oh, what kind of music is the swing music, and oh, I want to get involved with swing music?
We have different stories, I think. So
You want to do yours first?
yeah, okay. I'll do mine first. As a child, I always remember really liking music that my friends would look at me and be like, Charlotte, why do you like this music? It's old people's music. And I didn't understand what it was at the time. And it was still very, it was Michael Bublé, Jamie Cullum, that sort of thing. I hadn't actually had access to like big band swing at that time, but I always knew that there was something that I really loved about this style of music. And then when I was at university, I met a friend and they said, you know, I want to go and try some dancing. Will you come with me? And I said, of course, I'll go with you. I didn't really know what to expect. So we went to this class, but it was a modern jive class. The music was still very modern. And then the teacher kept saying to me, come to this Lindy Hop class. I was like, what is Lindy Hop? Didn't know what it was at all. Never really realized about the music. And then I ended up finally going. And that was when I realized, okay, this was the music that I had been missing all of these years. This is the music that I love. And that teacher was, of course, Joseph.
I started dancing from a young age in the 70s, and I heard jazz, and whilst I was into soul, there was a lot of jazz funk, and jazz funk includes a lot of jazz. It's jazz funk. There's a lot of horns, a lot of saxophones. So I really got into it from then. I watched a lot of old clips or some of the old 1940s movies, and also some of the Elvis movies where they were doing rock and roll and so forth. And so, for whatever reason, I always saw the dancing. I saw rock and roll and so forth, and didn't understand what I was watching, but I liked it. And it wasn't until the 1990s, and I even watched LWT when apparently there was a swing dance series on there, but it still didn't hit me. In 1992, I watched a very important film called Malcolm X, and in there it opens with a bit about the Savoy. It opens in the Savoy with all these people dancing. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'd never, it was a movie. It was full of black dancers in this place in New York. It was like mesmerizing. I put that to one side, and then I moved away after university, and someone invited me to a dance. And cut the long story short, I heard the band. It was a ball, and I heard the band play what I now know is "Flying Home." I was like, wow. Like Charlotte said, this is very much like what I heard in Malcolm X, what I heard in a lot of those movies. This is it. And that was my journey into Lindy Hop, and then looking for people who could give me more information about the history.
Well, nice, super interesting. What could you say that this dance gives you personally? Because, of course, you're teachers, great teachers, and you give your energy to other people, but I know that there is something intimate that's inside you, that this dance is giving you something special.
Yeah. You want to go first?
You can go first.
I think there's so much to it, because obviously there's so much history with jazz and Lindy Hop. There's this deeper connection, this deeper level of understanding and knowledge and appreciation of this culture. So it's always learning about that and always paying respect to that. So I feel like there's a duty you know, within what we do, there's a duty to share that and to educate ourselves, to grow, to share that with other people. But also, for me, I feel like I'm always growing as a person, because you're always challenging yourself in social dancing, challenging your body, challenging your mind, becoming more confident, understanding yourself more. So it's like it's a whole journey, and I think you never stop learning with it. That's the thing. There's always challenges. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it for me.
I think it's, you know, before partner dancing, you know, I'd go to the gym and work out, and it was great. It would keep me fit. I'd go jogging and so forth. But when I found Lindy Hop, something special happened. You dance with a partner. That feeling of communicating and socializing with people was very interesting to me. You became part of a community, which is what we try to create in our community, that everyone belongs to something, like a family. And so we get that family feel from there, a bit like what we had this weekend. The other thing that, as well, is that this community extends not just in our own town or our cities, but you can go anywhere in the world and plug into a Lindy Hop community, and you feel as if you're family. You may not even speak the same language, but all of a sudden you can even stretch your hand out if you can't speak the same language, and that is a sign to say, would you like to dance, worst case scenario. And of course, the feeling at the end of a sweaty night that you've worked out, but not only worked out, but you've made some friends along the way that some of them would become friends for life. Seeing people walk through our door, whether it's in our own club or traveling the world and seeing someone that in a class that's taken their first few steps, and then that person months later having a great time, traveling the world or traveling the country and dancing, you think, wow, we introduced that person, we've given them something, we've shared something. That's a lot of love there. And ultimately, we've seen a lot of people that have come into our community and met their husbands, partners, met friends for life. You know, everybody wants love in some way, and you've given a bit of that, whether it's friendship or partners, and to see that happen, it's amazing. But what drives us, as Charlotte said, is this sense of having the duty to share and support and create a sense of wanting for people to understand the history and the bonding between what we do now to those that gave us the dance, those that are no longer with us, and also with those like Barbara this weekend who are still with us. So that is a driving passion that keeps us burning regardless of how many hours we're working and
how tired we are, how broken our bodies are.
That keeps us going.
Yeah, absolutely nice. I'm sure that a lot of students would be interested if they have to learn something on their own. And how would you know that, okay, this movement now is correct or it works, or if it doesn't? And I don't know, how would you figure out some move that you'll be like, oh, look at that move, is nice, I want to do it? Oh, tricky.
Tricky question. No, yeah.
So let's understand a question, right? We've seen a move and we want to do that.
Like you see a move, you say, oh, that's a very interesting move, I would like to try it.
I guess this is what we experienced, to be honest, in the 90s and early 2000s, because there weren't that many teachers around, there weren't that many events and so forth. So you'd see a move on video. It may have been before one of the old clips, in the case of how do we recreate that? There's a lot of fumbling, there's a lot of watching and freeze frame and going back and what does it look like?
I remember doing this so much with the Keep Punching video, the Big Apple, to try, I mean, I'd learnt it, but I really wanted to go back and really, really study it and look at each individual dancer dancing it and their styling and their patterns, because they're all very slightly different. And so I really remember like looking at the clip, again, really slowing it down, focusing on one element at a time, like one beat. Okay, where are they on that beat? Where are they on that beat? So taking it really, really slowly, step by step, looking at the footwork patterns, then looking at their body, then looking at their arms. What are they doing in each moment, beat by beat, and then trying to figure out what count it would be. So really stripping it right back to like each tiny moment. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. So if anyone wants to learn on their own, just play it slowly and just test it out.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, so as we mentioned, social dancing is kind of also the reason why we are going to classes and learning all these moves. Is there something, even if it's small, that you really like when you dance with another person? It doesn't matter if they're intermediate level or advanced level, it doesn't matter, but because we can always dance with different levels of people, it doesn't matter. But is there something small that you're like, oh, I really like the way I felt with this person because we were doing something? Or
I'll go first. Okay. I think when the dancer is keeping time and keeping that steady, that pulse and that rhythm with the music, feeling that the musicality, and for me as a follower to receive space rather than thousands of moves flying around all over the place, it's just that kind of that steadiness and that connection, so that we're dancing together, having a conversation rather than two separate people and trying to do loads of millions of moves. It's just that kind of a moment of sharing, like a moment of sharing, a slower paced kind of conversation for me, and and you can have that at all levels. That's the thing, I think, for me, that I'm like, that felt nice because we were really together.
that's why foundations are super important.
Yes.
Know your swing out.
Absolutely.
And your posture.
Yes.
I think everything that Charlotte said, and ultimately, I think, sharing, the average song is 3.5 minutes. And when you share that song with someone else, you're sharing that time and space with them. And so imagine you're sharing a meal with another person. Do you want to be a happy meal? Not the McDonald's happy meal. Do you want to be a happy meal or a sad meal? I think just connecting with each other and having fun. Yeah. Having fun together and having that harmony in that space, sharing that space together. So I think that's the only thing I'd add to what Charlotte said.
I would totally agree. Absolutely. What do you think that a swing community, doesn't matter where, needs to thrive? I mean, what would be a nice conditions for a swing community to evolve, to grow, and healthy?
Shall I go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I think for a community to thrive and grow is, first of all, as we say, put a priority on beginners, to welcome people into the community, make them feel welcome, embrace, be very inclusive, to include everybody from every age, race, background, to make sure it's very inclusive, so that people will always feel welcome coming into a swing dance community. To always remember the culture and the history of the dance, so that everybody learns moves from the elders. And there are so many clips and things that you can find, and so ensure that all the beginners know those moves. And just by doing that, you are already embracing the culture and the history, as well as making it an inclusive space.
No, I agree. And I think when you are the head of that community and you foster that as your ethos of being inclusive, your students then also foster that ethos, and your whole community thrives, because when new people come in, it's not just the teachers or the organizers of that community that are trying to be the inclusive ones. It's everybody's on board, and it just keeps on growing and growing because everybody has the same values. And I think that's really important, and that's something that we see at home when people visit our community for social dances or events. They will always say, like, wow, we feel so taken care of, not just by you guys, but by everybody in your community. It's so inclusive, we feel really safe, we feel really welcome, and that's a really beautiful thing. So I think when it comes from the top, it always filters down to everybody, and then you just have this big family, and it feels good.
Absolutely. What advice would you give a beginner teacher? Because there are a lot of advanced dancers that maybe at some point they would like to say, okay, I want to create a community of my own, I want to create a school. So they have to structure how they're going to go about it and how to teach. Because for us, I would say that now we are a lot better than before, but it was a long way to get there.
No, I think it's I think it's just a case of just start, because so many communities around the world have started just from one or two people having a passion. They've seen Lindy Hop somewhere, they want to do it, but they don't have teachers around them. Like you guys, you just started and now you've created something. You have an amazing festival, you have a beautiful community, and you just started, you know, and you'll gradually build. People will slowly like what you're doing, and you'll start to have supporters and people that can help you. And again, I think it's a case of traveling so that you get access to people like Barbara, you know, people like Joseph sharing a lot of history, so you get to understand the roots of it and the things that maybe you can't always find online, or you're not going to really grasp from a clip. But I think the biggest thing is just to start somewhere is better than not creating that community. So many communities have sprung up from people just giving it a go, and it's really amazing, and now they're thriving. So if they didn't do that, that would be a huge loss, or something so sad. So many dancers would not be here. Absolutely. So I think it's just a case of going for it. You just do it. If you've got it in you, if you have that passion, you've got to start somewhere.
Just do it.
Yeah,
no
just
product placement.
Just do it.
No.
Yeah, I think it's just it's building what you said. You just get on with it. You will trying to get everything right before you start. It will take a long time. You'll never get everything right. And once you start, teaching is focus on how to break down moves so that you can transfer your knowledge and your moves to brand new people, and find out, listen to your community, find out what they need from you, and also don't be afraid to reach out to other people to help you to build a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that way you build a team, and you build friends that may be with you for life.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know that we can probably talk for hours.
Yeah.
We always love chatting to you.
It's the end of the festival and the weekend, so maybe just for closing, maybe something that you would like to share or say to the people that are watching.
Keep dancing, guys. Know your history, know the roots of the dance. For every clip of a competition that you're watching, go back and watch the spirit moves, watch Hell's a Poppin', watch the key Lindy Hoppers from back in the day. Make sure that you know who they are and you respect the culture. I think that's a really, really important thing.
And only to add to that is, as Norma would say, keep swinging. Have a great time. Have a great time. Just keep learning. Keep learning all the time, and keep inspiring yourself. And whatever you do, never, as Barbara would say, never stop dancing. And thank you to Daniel for inviting us to this interview.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure talking to you.
I'm so honored for you to spend your time and share your wisdom with us.
Thank you for asking us. It means a lot.
Thank you very much.
Da 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 da.